Okay, and we're recording, and hopefully you can see the screen share as well. We can see the PowerPoint on the screen. Just give me a nod. Somebody just put a thumbs up. Yeah, excellent, Linda. Thank you. It was quite. I was speaking during the week to people and said, "Yeah, what's it like doing these webinars?" And it's great, but I'm sat here giving all my thing to the camera. I can't see anything else. If you guys just wander off, I'll never know. Please don't do that. But anyway, so look at people dialing in. So okay, we're up to session 4. And what we're going to specifically be looking now is order building, upselling, cross-selling, getting referrals, but in the lifetime value of clients and customers that are coming through as it builds on, I hope, the previous three sessions. So again, over a quick intro, we're doing this because the sales landscape has changed and we're looking to operate in the new normal. We're going to have to do more social media, more marketing, less face-to-face networking, and we've got to build these profiles and learn how to sell and close while we're on a screen as much as anything else. Now, the same principles apply. There's no real difference between selling virtually or selling face-to-face, but we've got to use some slightly different techniques and tactics. That's what we're doing it for. The main function, the main reason for all this is just to sort of reinforce, is that people buy emotionally, not logically. We think they buy logically, but they just don't. And if you think about the last thing that you purchased, no matter what it was, whether it was a coffee or a suit or a dress or a house, it's an emotional purchase. It's not logical. Logic kicks in at some point in time, but we buy based on the emotion. We buy on the right brain. We buy with the eye. We buy with what we see. And as those people who are following our journey with the house, we bought that on, and that was an emotional purchase. That was, wow, that'll be great. Anyway, so we're figuring out the logic is now kicking in, and all is good, but we've got a bit more work to do than we thought. But anyway, so we want to tap into the emotional construct and maintain that emotional construct through the relationship with our clients and customers. If the logic kicks in, that's when people either say no, they don't connect, they disconnect, or they disappear and don't stay with us. So we need to maintain the emotional construct throughout the relationship. Okay, so Sally's just dialing in. Excellent. So session 3, just a quick review, was influence and persuasion. We looked at the 6 keys of influence. Anybody know what the 6 keys were? I'm not going to pick on anybody, but everybody got what the 6 keys were? Yeah, you all do. Okay, so reciprocation, liking, scarcity, commitment, authority, and social proof. Those are the key ones that we can build in. Social proof's a key one. You know, testimonials and that type of thing as well. We'll touch on that a bit more today. Second one was building rapport, how to get into rapport with people, maybe on a screen. You know, eye contact, using their words and their phrases, talking about their life, not about us, about them, their business and their likes and wants. And when they're in rapport, then we can move forwards to the sale. Negotiation, 3 keys for negotiation we need on our side. It's time, power, and knowledge. I think that if for the sector that most of us operate in, we've got time on our side, but knowledge is our key. Our shield in all this is knowledge, specialist expertise, and then we're looking at this insight selling. We're telling the clients what they need, not what they want. So I've got a classic example of that from my career to go through as an example of this in terms of the upsell and the cross-sell as well. And finally, overcoming objections. So with an objection, which you may get, then we acknowledge it and then we return with it. And I think I did a message out on Friday. I'm trying to keep up with you guys in terms of getting, you know, sales and meetings and leads and inquiries. And then an inquiry came in, which I thought was a very hot lead. It was really good. I sent the message out so you can have a quick look at it. And we had the conversation on Monday. Booked in for the sales meeting, had the conversation over Zoom on Monday, and deal is done. New client started, which is great. So, and I know some of you guys have done the same sort of thing. But halfway through, well, towards the end of the conversation, everything was good, and all of a sudden, the mood slightly changed. And he said, he's not on the call today, so I'm quite safe. He won't mind me saying anyway. He said, this all sounds great, love it, yeah, count me in, let's get started. And then he said, I just need to speak to my wife on this one, because his wife's a business partner in the business, all this sort of thing, which is fair enough. Now, what I did was, when he said that, my heart went, oh, I've missed it. I should have got them both on the call. You know, get both decision makers on the call. That's the best way of doing it. And maybe I missed it or I didn't pick it up. And I said, well, of course you do. You know, I do the same, because I'm not even allowed to buy my own socks. So I have to get permission to go to the shops. And so I acknowledged it, I accepted it, and he smiled at that. And then I said, just out of interest, what will you do if she says no? And then I shut up. And he went, no, you're right. He said, no, let's crack on. It'll be fine. Let's crack on. Because it wasn't true. It's not a real objection. It's just that his logic had kicked in and he was thinking, not that it wasn't that he needed his wife's permission to do it. He was just looking for the best excuse he could find to satisfy his logical, I'm not sure, I'm uncertain, the panic and the fear sets in. So if you get an objection, you can always overcome it or you can avoid it in the first place. So that was what we went through in sort of structure-wise last week. And we've got, we've got the chat, Mrs. Needed. Thank you, Phil. Sorry, I was looking at the chat box open. Needed his own permission. He did need his own permission. You're absolutely right. Okay, let's put the chat box down there. Okay, excellent. Thank you. So, how's the homework? I'm not going to pick on people specifically for homework. I'm just looking for people put their hands up in the air. Video, who cracked on with the video? Any videos being done this week? Stefan, good man. Excellent. I saw that one, I think. Excellent. Linda, I know you have, but it's work in progress. That's great. Yeah, that's it, exactly. Good. Anybody else? Anybody else? I believe you will look around. We'll come back. We'll open up the chat later on and go to that one. Who's got a deal? Who's got a client this week? Who's got a client, a booking? Jonathan, nicely done. Stefan, yes. Barry, Josh got a machine sale, didn't you, over for you guys? Was it? I heard. So, okay, but we'll take that one. I know Aaron. Where's Aaron? Let's have a quick look. Aaron got one. You got a new client, Aaron? Could I unmute you and could you just talk us through, not the detail of who they are and all the numbers, but it was an interesting process. Could you come on and just talk us through how you closed them, Aaron?
Thank Dave. Do you mean more as to where I took and doing the three stages of the pricing? Is that what you mean?
There you go. Yes, please. That would be great. I think so. I thought it was quite interesting. That was all.
Okay, so we use pricing. Used to always just go out and give one price. So if someone came and quoted, we'd find out obviously for the accountants needs what they needed. This time we went out and did either bronze, gold, and platinum. And always been told that they'll always pick on the gold side. They'll always pick on that price. And I've been working with Dave for the last couple of months, and the biggest problem I always have is going in far too cheap, not charging enough. So I thought, right, we'll have to just bite the bullet in this, and I'm going to go in at a very high price. So I went in a price way higher than I've ever charged before for what I was actually doing for this client. They're not big, not expecting them to do it. So I put the highest price in, the price in my gold that I thought would be the highest. And I put a price in platinum, which I thought, well, they're never going to go for that because it's way too high. And I spoke to them yesterday and they said, we just want to let you know, can you send us over the proposal because we want to go for your platinum price. So it shows it works.
Fabulous. Good man. Excellent. I think it's a cracking story. So Aaron, thank you for that. And all San Francisco is dialing in as well. There we go. And brilliant. Well done. And I think what you did really well is you held your nerve. You put the package together, put a proposal together. And that's what happens. People don't buy on price unless we let them, and it's that emotional sale. So good job for that. Really good. And thank you for I know you sent me a quick sort of update through as well, which was good to see. Okay. Claudia, I think you put your hand up. Is that true, or did you click the wrong button? Sorry.
Oh, I did the video, so that was the hand raising.
Oh, you did. I saw the video. I never really saw your video on LinkedIn. There was no voice and no talking, nothing at all. I think it was just you, I think, driving along the Moselle Valley in your fabulous convertible car, looking amazing, looking happy with life, and it was about, a minute long max, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But fabulous. No, good job. You got some good feedback on that, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Excellent. Nicely done. Nicely done. Perfect. Okay, good. So get 2 clients referrals. Anybody got referrals? We'll come on to that. Yes, Gareth, nicely done. Excellent. I'm going to pick on you a little bit later on, Gareth. That's okay. I know you had some good news as well as a follow through, and get a couple of client testimonials as well. So if you've got all those things done, then great. But we're really looking to get these the clients up and running. So good job. Okay, so what we're looking at today is this long-term relationship. The profit in any business relationship pretty much is in what I call, it's in the back end. If you get a new client, you sign them up and do whatever you do within a program or relationship, The money you make in the first month or 2 months is just getting the money back you've spent on all the advertising, marketing, and the effort you put into it. You probably break even something like 3 months in or something like that. The profit comes at the back end in the long-term relationship. And the challenge for many people is that they don't hold on to their clients for long enough to actually get into profit. They sign a client, but they don't keep them. So what we want to look at is, how do we develop this relationship with clients? How do we not just hold on to them, but give that value over a long period of time, such that they stay with us, they see value, and then we get our profitability in the longer term as well. So we're looking for long-term relationships. And we did a quick look through some of the people that we've been working with, and we've got clients who've now been with us for, gosh, 15 years, 16 years. And I was chatting to a client last night on Facebook, and we've been together, it's 18 years ago pretty much, when we first started working together. And that's the joy of what we do. And I think, but for all of us, that's the thing we really want to have. Long-term relationship, not just from a profit point of view, but you want to work with people that you like and trust and get to know, and it's all part of the journey. So that's where the money is as well. So what happens is after the sale is done, immediately they say yes to something. This is where you can lose a client if you're not careful. It's called buyer's remorse. So you do the deal, you say yes, they go, this is amazing, you're wonderful, all is good, and then you shut the Zoom call, or you walk out, you leave them to it, and sorry, Chris, excellent, good. Sorry, they didn't, and then when you've gone, their energy drops, and they go into what's called buyer's remorse, and this is when you're going to get an email or a call or a message or whatever it is, or nothing at all, and it typically goes, great to see you, I've been thinking, and I don't think the time is right now, or I'm not quite sure, or I spoke to my wife or my husband or whatever it is, and they go cold. It's called buyer's remorse. And the first 10 minutes after you finish the meeting, that's when you're going to potentially lose most of your clients, because the energy, the excitement, the passion, whatever you bring to it, it goes, and emotion stops and logic kicks in. And logic is basically risk aversion, it's fear, it's avoidance, and it's do nothing to be safe. Remember the story about the snakes in the grass? It's that they go, oh, I'm not sure about this, and they go into buyer's remorse. So how can we overcome that? How can we get over this buyer's remorse? And the way to do it is to keep the emotion there, to keep the emotional connection there, and avoid, if you like, the left side of the brain kicking in and talking them out of it. And I've had this happen in various businesses, transport business, the coaching business, training business, where you do a deal, you walk out, and literally before you get back to the car, sometimes you get a message saying, we need to think about this, or we need to postpone. And all it means is that the emotion that we built up throughout the whole process, we haven't carried it through, we haven't left them with anything as we leave the meeting. Now, how can you do that? How can you overcome that? Well, the key thing is, remember, when they buy, they were in this positive certainty. When they have that positive certainty, they trust you, they know you, they like you, they're feeling upbeat about what you can do, they see the value, everything's good, and they're there. They go, this is great, let's crack on, that is good. We've got to keep them in that quadrant. And what happens if you're not very careful is once you leave, they go down into the negative quadrant, negative uncertainty, or it could be even positive uncertainty. They still like you, but there's just that 10% chance they're not going to follow through with it. So we've got to keep them out of that quadrant, and they go into that quadrant. And we used to have this in the franchise business, is that we had it's called a 3-month wobble. Now you get a new franchisee come on board, and what would happen was they'd buy the franchise, but then within 3 months they would start off loving us as franchisor, and then they dip into not hating but disliking. They go into this negative uncertainty, and within 3 months of a franchise agreement is when people lose their franchisees, because it tapers off. So it might be immediate within 5 minutes, or it could taper off over a period of time as well. And we actually used to plot it. We used to plot the relationship with new franchisees. I've been a franchisee, I've been on the journey myself. I know Kev, Gareth, I know you've been on the same journey as well. And there's a very fine system around this. And the way to overcome it, and we'll touch on this a little bit later on as well, is when somebody's signed up, and let's say they keep on going with you, but if there's a program of work to do for them or with them to avoid this 3-month wobble, is put them into what I call an intensive care program. And it means you're probably in touch a bit more than you would be normally. You're checking on them, you're sending them things, you're keeping in touch, you're visible, you're helping, you're just doing a little bit more, maybe over servicing a little bit to build that relationship, and away you go. Now, after 3 months, if everything's good, the value's there, they're still liking you and knowing you, they'll come back up a little bit, the uncertainty disappears. Once you get through that 3 month, the wobble, they're likely going to stay with you in the longer term. But getting through the 3 month wobble is key. It applies to the martial arts business. We know this in terms of martial arts students, how long they stay and when they leave. And this 3 month, 90 days is critical in martial arts. It applies in franchising, and it probably applies to you guys as well. So we want to avoid either immediately them dropping down into this negative uncertainty quadrant, or allowing them to fall into that quadrant over the first 2 or 3 months of the relationship as well. Now, how do we do it? So you have the meeting with them and they go, yeah, this is great, we're out the blocks and doing. Now, as you leave, you've got to get them to do something. You've got to maintain that excitement. And these are some things you can try out. You can get them to start an activity. Whatever it is they're doing, get them started right away. Give them some homework. Give them something to do. Give them something to research or prepare or do or get ready or whatever it is. Give them something to do that they've got to send over to you or get involved with or whatever it is. Get them started straight away. If they're sat there waiting for you to send the forms through or the contract or whatever it is, in the space between you leaving and getting the contract through, it's called this valley of death. They're gonna disappear and evaporate on you. When I started selling transport services, we had, as Aaron was saying, we had 3 levels of service on the transport side. And we called it gold, silver, bronze. And I would go to the sales meetings, and this is the day before emails. I would turn up to the sales meetings knowing what the customer wanted. I had a contract and an invoice all made out for each of the programs, gold, silver, bronze. I'd signed it, I dated it, today's date. And when we had the sales meeting, whatever program they went for, if they say, okay, this looks great, we're going to go for the silver program, I would just reach in and bring out the silver agreement, the silver contract, all signed, all dated. And they thought this was quite spooky. I never told them I had all 3 in my bag, but I would go prepared and give them something to get started with straight away. Here's the agreement, here's the contract. What we're going to do next is this, this, and this, and away we go. Don't give them a gap because it keeps that enthusiasm running. So start the activity if you can. Give them homework to do. What's some of the things that I do, and people are going to smile at this, I guess, but if we start with a new client, we immediately give them a book to read, or we have a disc profile ready for them. I said, do the disc profile, here's a book, here's a zip folder, here's something to take away, get on with something so that we get prepared for the program starting. But it doesn't matter what business you're in. If you're in the accounting business, the coaching business, or the HR business, it doesn't matter. Give them something to do, even if it's just a bit of preparation, some numbers that you need or something like that. Give them something to get on with. Book the next meeting. Have the next meeting in the diary before you leave. Now that's good. That's another critical one. Have it in the diary, all scheduled, all agreed. It could be a Zoom call or anything else, or the next stage. It might be a meeting with you. It could be one of your team. What I normally do is I will say, well, no, Lynn will be in touch and she will book our next scheduled calls and appointments as we go along. And immediately Lynn is in touch and she just picks it up and she's on email, picks up the phone and gets the thing moving straight away. We don't want to leave a gap for them to, not that we don't want to think about it, it's not that we don't want them to think about it, we want to maintain the level of excitement and enthusiasm for it. So book the next meeting in and get it logged in the diary, in the calendar. Give them a starter pack. This works really well. We used to do a lot of this, and this is in various clients and companies. Give them something tangible. What we've done for most of us, we sell an invisible, intangible service, whether it's martial arts product or a coaching product or HR or anything like that, whatever it is, it's an intangible service. Even if it's a machine tool, they're not going to get the machine tool for 3 months. Even if they say yes to it, they're not going to get anything. Well, give them something, give them a starter pack. So the starter pack could be anything you like. I would typically, for what we do, for example, I would use maybe a zip folder or a flight case, and I'll put in it the agreement. I'll put a couple of books in it, a magazine, a bar of chocolate, anything, just a bit of fun stuff. Here's your starter pack, and away you go. But you can do that in any business, or anybody can have a starter pack. Oh, sorry, yeah. Thanks, Stefan. I can't forget Sandrine. Sandrine, hi, welcome. I didn't forget you. I didn't see the message. My apologies. Welcome to the call. So given that you have this starter pack, is just something that they can hold on to that makes all their invisible intangible visible and tangible. It's something they can take home, have a look at, flick through. It could be a brochure, it could be a sample, it could be whatever you like, but it makes the invisible service you've just pitched to them tangible, and that's a critical change. It makes it they can feel and touch it and taste it, and it can be anything you like. But a starter pack is a great way of doing keeping this buyer's remorse. In the martial arts business, for example, I know some of the guys, they give them the gi, they give them the belt, they give them the gum shield, they give them a little starter pack for that. Then that's great. That's great stuff. That's good. Get them having something they can validate the purchase and take it away and start to actually experience what you're going to deliver for them. And give a wow factor. Give them something to go, wow, that's great. This is something I can tell to my colleagues, my friends, or my creative brain can tell my logic brain and validate the purchasing decision. Whatever it is, give them something, a wow factor, or something special, something unique, something that goes, wow, it validates the purchasing decision, and then you're away and out the blocks. But these normally happen in the first 10 minutes. We've got to keep it up as we go along. We'll have things booked in the diary, keep in touch with them, and make sure we're maintaining that emotional connection with the people as they go along. Now, in terms of insight selling, this is the weekend just gone is, or was, or should have been, the Blackpool International Dance Championships. And I was contacted by Peter Dobner, who was the last boss that I ever had, pretty much. And he was the founder and CEO of the, as I call it, the frock shop, the dressmaking business I worked with. And he contacted me on LinkedIn, said, do you fancy a coffee? I said, yeah, that'd be great. We had a Zoom coffee. He's based in Austria now. And we're doing a recording on Monday just to catch up on old times. I haven't spoken to Peter for 25 years. And he was the final, but one of the best bosses I ever had. He was a great guy. And it reminded me of the dance business. Anyway, so it should have been Blackpool. This is an example of what we would do in the dance business. And my job as operations and manufacturing director was to produce all the dresses and the designs and get it all done and ready to go for this big exhibition. Now, the picture you see on the screen there is the Winter Gardens in Blackpool. And those who know the Winter Gardens, those who know Blackpool, it's not the nicest town in the world, but the Winter Gardens are amazing. And so this dance championship, which should have happened over the weekend, in the calendar is huge. It's the amateurs and the professionals. Everybody gets together. It's 3 or 4 days. It's an amazing place. And it's literally where dreams are made. We have the ballroom dancers, Latin American dancers. Everybody's there. It's great fun. And we will be up there for the week, working on the stands and supporting all the dancers. Anyway, that's a picture of the Winter Gardens. And just notice, if you would, the colour of the floor. And it's red, like a red sort of purpley tinge to it. So the lighting's not that great either, but they have the lighting stands in there, but the red floor. So what would happen is, way before Blackpool, we were in Mitcham in South London, and we would have the dancers, either the amateurs or professionals, coming to us with ideas they wanted for the Blackpool dress, as they call it, because they're a huge occasion for them. And so what happened was, this is a typical design called a mood board. This is a ball gown, a ballroom dress. There's one of the sponsored couples that we will be working with. And we would design the dresses, all couture, all individual designs, design the dress for the dancers, and away we go. Now these dresses would typically be anything from £5,000 to £15,000. Even back then, maybe even more now. It depends on the fabric, depends on the style, depends on the detail. They're expensive. There's a lot of money for these things. We want to get it right. And what would happen would be a dancer would come to us and say, I want a Blackpool dress. Red suits me. This is my idea. Can you turn it into a design? And can you make me my Blackpool dress? Now, the upsell or the insight sale to this would be, just as a tip, if you're dancing on a red floor, you don't want to wear a red dress. Now, we know that. Our designers would know that. So the first one would be, you want a red dress. Well, we're not going to make you a red dress. We're going to give you a different colour dress that will pop, we call it popping, pop on the dance floor. You don't want a red dress on a red dance floor. So we would say, you don't want that one, you want this one. And here's another typical one that would look fabulous on a red dance floor. So it's white, red highlights. Now that may be cheaper than the dress that she wanted. It may be more expensive, but the upsell is not just a price upsell, it's a value upsell. Selling them a product that is better for them than they think. It may be more expensive or bigger margin for you, great, but it may not be. It may just be better for them. And if you put a dancer onto a dance floor, red floor with a red dress, it just looks ridiculous. We lose our credibility. The other edge that we would have is we guaranteed if people came to us, no two dresses would be the same. And this is probably more of a girls thing, I think, because if you go to a party or a cocktail party, whatever it is, and there's another person there in the same dress, it's not great. So we would guarantee uniqueness, and we guarantee that the dress would not clash with the floor. So this might be the dress we would recommend. Now, it could be more expensive, it might be cheaper, it doesn't matter. It's better for the student, and we would have to talk them out of having a red dress. That took quite a bit of doing sometimes, but we got to the point where we'd actually say, we're not going to do one. We're not going to make a dress for you, not a red one. We'll do one of these, and we'd walk away from the deal, mainly because our badge might be on it, our name is associated with it, and if it's not the right product for the event, we looked after as well. So you've got to maintain your own credibility, and this would be a very emotional purchase, as you can imagine. And what we would do then, when we'd upsold or we got the right product, got them convinced about it, then we'd look at the height of the dance. And these dresses look amazing. The models or the mood boards, you imagine the height of these women. They're about 8'6", they're 3 meters tall. Any dress on a very, very thin 8 foot tall woman looks amazing, and that's quite unfortunate. If you're my shape or you're a 5'2" Mexican build, you don't want one of these dresses. You look like a shuttlecock if you're not very careful. So we had to be real careful about the height, the build, of the dance. So that's quite an emotional conversation to have as well. But interesting point. If you look at the hem of the dress, what we would do is based on the height and the build of the dancer and what the design that she wanted, we would make the skirt different. It either hangs vertically or it would pop out. It would swirl. And the way you do that is you apply to the hem. You use a thing called an overlocker, and you stitch into the hem. It's fishing line, and if you use thin fishing line, because it's curly, it gives that bounce and curl to the skirt, but it doesn't pop out very much. So if you use like £5 fishing line, it does that. If you use £25 fishing line, it does that. Much stronger, much more bouncy. So we would advise the dancers on the color, the structure, the fabric, the decoration, the height of all the waistlines that look good on them, and then the fullness of the skirt. And we would use pearl chiffon or something like that. So we were upselling, not just to make more money, but upselling to get the product right for the student. And I reckon 9 times out of 10, the dress that they wanted wasn't the one they bought, because we knew better. And this is the whole thing that we do and you guys do in professional sales, especially when it's a high value emotional purchase. We've got to sell them what they need, not what they want, because they don't know what they want. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. So you've got to be really tough and stand your ground with them to sell what they really need. And this is what we would do as well. Now the cross sell then, so upsell is going up the value chain. You sell them maybe the bigger one or the bright one, the more expensive one, the platinum package, as Aaron found. It may be the best thing for them is the bronze package. And I've done this as well. If I think somebody needs the smaller package or the smaller whatever it is, that's what I'm going to suggest they have, because I know more about my services than they do, therefore I'll sell what's most appropriate for them. So don't get confused with upselling just being profit maximization. It's value maximization for the clients, but you've got to engineer it through with them. And when you've done the upsell and you get the product right, now you can do the cross sell. And the cross sell we would do, for example, using this analogy here, is, well, there's lots of things you can do in the dress market, but still, they need shoes. So these are Super Dance shoes. They are a pearl. They're silver suede underneath. They're beautiful shoes, about £150 a pair. And we would say, well, you need some shoes to go with your dress. Now, if you just spent £7,000 or euros on your dress, and it's an amazing one you want, £150 on shoes is just it doesn't matter. It says, yeah, that's true. Now, what we could also do then with those shoes, because they're fabric, we would dye them to suit the dress or suit the dance floor. So we can dye them red, green, blue, whatever color they want. We will dye them for them and color the fabric for them. And that would be another sort of, £25, £30 on top. But we would then cross-sell when the dress is purchased, we cross-sell to maybe it's for shoes, and maybe it's for the dye for the shoes. The biggest thing, the biggest cross sell we would do that interest was fake tan. I don't see any dancers on here. There's some people, yeah, maybe I'm not sure anyway. But these guys and gals, they wear this fake tan, and they bathe in it. They come out looking like the blooming Easter bunny. And but the challenge with fake tan, of course, it wears off, and they would be covered. They'd be walnut coloured. And so we would sell, give them a deal on fake tan. We'd give them a deal on something else, or a dress bag, or a shoe bag, and they'd walk out with a full kit. But the way this works is you sell them the big thing first, the high ticket item first, and then you cross sell to other ancillary services. And again, it's not just to build your sales, build your margin, it's to build the value proposition. And what we would find was that if we got this done, we'd give them a dress bag. So when they walk into the ballroom, they've got the bag with our name on the side of it. They look fabulous, they feel great, the shoes are good, they're all tanned, they've got the makeup done, and when they go on the dance floor, people are pointing and go, wow, we know where that dress comes from. We know it was great marketing for us as well. And the same applies for you. You want your clients to look good, perform well, get value and get results from what you do. So it's positioning. So the upselling is the product range, and it's not just going up the product range. If it's appropriate, then that's absolutely fine. So you upsell, but then you cross sell, you go across the product range, and just think of all the things that you can sell and you can promote to people and pitch it in, but do the big sell first, and then you do the smaller sell afterwards. We never started, I don't think I ever sold a dress that started with a bottle of fake tan, and I worked my way from a £15 bottle of fake tan up to a 10,000 dress. I don't think that ever happened. Regular, buy a 10,000 dress, then we'll buy a crate of fake tan to go with it, or something like that. So you start with the big ticket item and you move across to maybe the smaller ticket items as you go along. That sets the scene, and that's how you can build your margin and you build your average order value. That's critical in the sales process. Too many people, they don't build their yes, Stephanie's going to look fabulous on his next video. I'll get him a dress, really good. That's the cross sell. So, and we've all got these things we can do in our own businesses in terms of different products and services, but most people miss out the opportunity. They get the sale of the big thing or the product or the service, and they just forget or ignore to bundle it together. People like buying bundles. They like buying packages and promotions. It's like in McDonald's, which I'm not allowed to go to anymore, is the Happy Meal. That they bundle it all together and they get a Happy Meal. Now, if you can go to your clients, which I think was what Aaron did, and you pre-bundle them, then you've got your upsell and your cross-sell already done for you. You have a gold, silver, platinum program or something like that, and the upsell and the cross-sell is already done. But bundling is a great way of doing it, and we can all do it. You can all have these things in your portfolio, but go prepared with it and be prepared to sell them what they need, not just what they want. Okay, so any questions so far? Just looking, I'm conscious I've been talking a lot. Is everybody still awake? Let's have a quick look. Oh, Jonathan is. Yeah, that's okay. Good. Yeah. Oh, good. Excellent. Marvelous. Okay, I'll believe you. Excellent. Good. All right. So next, this is something we did with an accounting business. Not Aaron. I'm not going to pick on Aaron all the time, but one of my clients in the UK was an accountant based in Birmingham, and back in 2004 we worked with him. Turns out that in 2010 he went to prison for fraud for 4 years. Anyway, nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. Anyway, but when we're working with this, is something that we did with him, but it's something we can do in all our businesses. It's an interesting to a detailed approach to your products and services. So the next slide is going to show you a matrix. I hope. Here we go. And it's utilization. So everything's being changed on here. It's not the one I used with him, but it's the principle. And I can send you the sort of spreadsheet if you want it. It's called utilization. And all you do, and what we did with this guy, was we wrote down across the top of the spreadsheet, as you can see here, we've got XYZ Engineering, Helen R, Karen M, John B, all the clients across the top. And then down the side, we listed all the services that accounting practice could provide. And these services may apply to accountants now, Could be different ones or better, whatever. But these are the ones that we sort of found. So management accounts, statutory accounts, tax returns, standard things that accountants do, and some other ones as well, sale and leaseback deals, R&D, tax credits, that type of thing. And what we did, we wrote down all the services, and then we went across all the clients, and we just put a tick in the box, which clients buy which service. So you can see XYZ Engineering, they have statutory accounts, wages, they had a will done for somebody, R&D credits, and they had a liquidation as well. That was it. So of all those services, they only bought five of them. Helen, next to XYZ, different range of services. And you just do that with all the clients you've got. List down all the products, all the services, list them down against the clients. And what you're looking for is a very, very rough cut. How much are you utilizing your products and services? So in this one, we've got a total of 112 boxes on that screen, if that makes sense. 112, number of clients times number of services. And we've only got 30 boxes ticked. There's only 30 boxes actually being ticked. So our utilization is here. So we've got 16 times 7, 16 services times 7 clients, 112. If every box was ticked, every client's using every service, that's what we call maximum utilization. Everybody's using everything, life's good, that's great, away you go. But when we measured it on that form there, it's 30 boxes out of 112. So the utilization's only 20, call it 27%. In other words, only 1/3 of the total capacity of that business is being utilized by the clients. So rather than get new clients coming in from a retention point of view and the long-term sale, is look at the clients that you've got. If you haven't got any, you can build this up as you go along. The clients that you've already got, list them down, all your services and all the way across, and just check on your utilization. I guarantee it's not 100%. In fact, it's never going to be 100% because not all clients want the same thing. But if you're down at sort of 26 to 30%, there's probably some work to do. And what we did with this particular accounting practice, we just wrote to all the clients that we thought were appropriate and said, did you know we also did this, we also did that, and we gave them a bit of a package offer. And most of the clients came back and said, we didn't know you did that. We didn't know you did R&D tax credits. We didn't know you could do lease and sale back of assets. We didn't know you could do invoice discounting with us. We didn't know. And they're buying these services from somewhere else. Well, why not buy them from you? But we tend to focus on only 1 or 2 products. So the way to do this is to list down all the services you have, all the clients that you have, and just go through it. And it's not perfect, but it's a pretty good indicator of this utilization. And then you contact the clients that you think can use your services and make them aware of what's going on and what the potential is. I guarantee they're going to come back and they're just going to say to you, didn't know you did that, didn't know you could do that, I wasn't aware. And they'll buy from you rather than somebody else because you've got that emotional connection relationship with them. And what we're looking for here is what it's called wallet share. They're spending money with other people, other services, from other customers, or other companies. Well, why not spend it with you? You know, they should. They're buying, if you're in the martial arts business and they're buying their fitness equipment from Sports Direct, they should be buying it from you. Why not? The drinks bottle, the gum shields, or whatever it is, they should buy it from you. So just look at the matrix way and what's your utilization and how can you improve that? That's the real opportunity for everybody, and it applies to just about every business, I think. Okay, so we've covered the sale, we've looked at upselling, so the product range, we looked at cross-selling and looked at utilization. What I'm going to suggest, I'm going to try something new, if that's okay, is I'm going to put everybody into breakout rooms, if that's okay, of 4 or 5 people each, and spend 15 minutes just between, obviously getting to know each other and say hi, but just to discuss between yourselves, what could you do, what advice would you give each other, what tips and ideas, what's your experience of cross-selling, upselling, and utilization, and any questions you have for each other as well. And we'll come back into the main room in about 15 minutes time. Is that okay? Just look, yeah, okay, so I'm gonna attempt to press the right button. So I'm gonna put you into 4 rooms of between 4 and 5 people. Now, I hope this is gonna work. So I'm about to press the button, brace yourselves. You may need to unmute yourselves anyway, but I'll see what I'm trying to create the rooms. And okay, so it's selected you by random. I'm going to open all the rooms And now you've been invited to join the rooms. You have to accept the invites, and you should then pop into all the individual rooms. And when you're in there, unmute, have a chat, say hi, play nice, and we'll close the rooms in about 15 minutes as we go along. Fabulous. And welcome back, welcome back. We'll start to, I was going to feed the dogs because the Labrador was barking, weren't you? So anyway, she's happy now. Happy Labrador, not snoring like a pig. But anyway, so I get to come minutes for everybody else to come back online, and then we'll kick off again. And yeah, it's raining here, thunder, rain. Horrible. Didn't sign up for this. I'm coming home, going back to the UK.
We had quite an exciting evening yesterday evening with thunder, lightning, hail, heavy rain.
Oh, did you? Oh, we didn't get that this far south, but yeah, really? Any damage or?
No damage, but I'm not sure if it was the weight of the rain or I've got a problem. But I'm going to have to check the gutters after this because they were overflowing in places.
Oh wow. Okay. Yep. Not good. Not good. Well, we've got the electrician and the roofing guy looking at our house, the new one, next week. So it's been damaged. It needs to be more repairs now. But still, anyway, as I said, we doubled the budget, so we'll see what happens. But there we are.
Lynn was having difficulty getting the fire to light to burn the rubbish in the garden.
Oh, was she? Oh, I didn't see that. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Posted it on Facebook, the picture through the windscreen of the car, and it's chucking it in.
Yeah, this is why I book these seminars on a Thursday so that they can clear up and leave me alone. But anyway, good. So I think we're all back just about. I'm hoping. Don't quote me on that. It's being recorded, isn't it, as well? I'm in real trouble now. Lynn won't watch the video, and I know you guys won't tell her. We'll be all right. I'm safe. I'm safe. Okay, so we'll kick off. Gareth, could you pop on to the call? Would you mind? It'd be great to hear.
Yeah, hi.
So, well, good to see you. Welcome. I know you've had an interesting week, and you did a couple of messages from the handwritten letter and the. Just give us a quick update because you've had quite an interesting week. Just some, post marketing updates, perhaps. How have you gone, and what are the wins?
Yeah, so great conversations with people following the kind of lottery letter plus the reaching out on LinkedIn and stuff like that. So one client signed, one great conversation, and I think it's going to continue on in the future. And then another one now, another lead got a conversation booked on Monday at 2 p.m. with another one who received a lottery letter and reached out. I don't have to follow on with that one. I know we talked about following on, but he came back to me and said, really like there, let's have a conversation. So yeah, so good week.
Fantastic, well done. And I think the thing is, it's always good to follow up on letters and the marketing, that sort of thing. But if we get the marketing not right, but marketing more powerful, engaging, we get the inbound leads, which is perfect. If we know, that's great. So good job, well done. So you've got the pipeline's building up a little bit. New client, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Has anybody won the lottery thing yet? Do you know? Or am I going to tell you?
No, I don't think so.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it? They win the lottery, they can afford to hire then. You'd be like,
Well, that's the plan. That's the plan. Yeah.
excellent. Good way. Great stuff. Keep it up. Good to know. Thanks for the update. Lovely job. Thank you. Okay. So, any other questions? We're going to want to move on to referrals and that sort of thing, relationship side. Anything else? Just pop it into the message box if you want to go over it again or cover it again or anything like that. If not, I'll just blast on regardless, and I'll assume everybody's happy. Okay, so we've covered the utilization, and we've covered the upsell and the cross-sell, and then we're looking to the leads. Now, if you get this right in terms of the relationship and the value and long-term clients, a lot of your business will come through by referrals. Because that's the highest conversion rate as you go. Now, the downside of referrals, they're not a downside to it. Something to watch out for is that if you're getting referred to by long-term clients or from long-term clients, likely your prices have gone up since you started working with your long-term client. And if you haven't put your prices up to your existing clients, when they refer you to somebody else, they'll tell them what you're charging them, which is okay, not a problem, but it may actually cap your pricing a little bit if the expectation is that your pricing is what it was sort of 2 years ago or something. Just watch out for that a little bit. But in principle, referrals are great to get, and there's some sort of principles around them as well. First of all, it's positioning, and let your clients know that you're going to be asking for referrals and introductions as you go along, because what I found was that in either this business or others and clients' businesses as well, some clients and customers, they don't realize it's okay to refer, which sounds bizarre, but they don't realize that it's okay to pass your name on and let them go. And what I've done, and will continue to do, is I give people or clients, or will give clients, so brace yourself, you haven't got this yet, a little referral pack, which is just a little silk bag with some business cards inside and a little note saying, please distribute these as you see fit, or send my name out and this sort of thing. Let them know it's okay to give referrals and introduce you and see what happens. So that's the first one, just position the clients to expect it. Now, the best way to position one of your clients to give you a referral is to give them one. Give them a lead, give them a referral, give them an introduction to either another one of your clients or your contacts. And I find that this works really well. I attempt to do this with everybody because with being so sort of international, it can be quite tricky sometimes. But if I find somebody who's looking for to have their wardrobe made over, or they need HR services, whatever it is, I will attempt to point them in the direction of the people that we work with and that we know. So giving a referral is key. So Jonathan, you have a referral scheme for both clients and external agencies? It's always a way. Yeah, great. Okay, there you go. And you can formalize it to a degree. We're going to let people know that it's okay to introduce, that they can pass your name around. And the best way is you give them a referral first, and then through reciprocation rules, back to the book, the Influence book, if I give you a referral, not that you're obliged, but it'd be nice to refer back. It's just the way it works. So if I give first or you give first, that can encourage people to give you something back as well. So give a referral in order to get one. Asking, just ask, and it's a simple thing. Ask for a referral. Ask for an introduction, either in the conversations you have with people, or when you meet them, or socialize or network, whatever it is. Just say to them, and the way I would phrase it is something, look, I like working with you. I like working with people like you. You must know lots of other people around. Who do you think will be interested in, joining us on a program or a workshop, an event, whatever it is? Who do you think will be interested? And the key is for them to tell you who they think it is, but they make the introduction. If they'll pick up the phone or email, do the email intro, and actually make the bridge between you and their prospect or their client, whatever it is, that's a much warmer lead than them just saying, oh, well, call Helen or call Bob. He's a decent bloke. He'll talk to you. Bob doesn't know who the heck you are. Doesn't know you've been referred. There's no social proof. There's nothing. So you've got to get the person to really make the introduction for you, warm it up a little bit, and then through validation or sort of halo effect, at least they'll be open to a conversation with you. And if your client or your network, they say nice things about you, social proof kicks in, and then they're much more likely to engage. But ask for them, not every minute, but on a regular basis. Ask for referrals, and what you find is that your conversion rate from a referred lead should be about as high as it's going to get. I mean, inbound leads are probably the best you're going to get, but then maybe just secondary referred leads are the best you're going to get. So if your marketing generates inbound leads, and then from your long-term clients, because they love you so much, you build on referrals, those two ways of building your business is just a very nice sweet spot. You don't need to do lots of follow-up, you don't need to do lots of other stuff. Those two can really sort of feed the database for you. And also then thank them. Now, there is a question around referrals, and it's up to you how you handle it, what you do with it. I have people come to me regular because we've got quite a strong network, and they will say, can you introduce me to your network, and I'll give you 10% of their first month's sale or first year's sales, should they buy from us, 10% commission. And I always turn it down. And the rule that I use is, if I refer somebody to my client and they get a win from it, they do well out of it, then great, that's a good thing. I don't want to get money from the person delivering the service. So I don't ask for fees for referrals, but I don't give them either, because I think it's sort of, just for me, it's a personal thing. This sort of brown envelope, cash under the table type deal. For me, I want to do the best I can for my clients. They pay us already. I want to do the best for them. If I can introduce them to somebody else that does a great job for them as well, then great. Providing they look after them, that's all okay. And I don't want to be doing this because I get some money out of it. I want to do it because my clients get a win or they benefit from it. And that's just me. If you've got a scheme, or there's something around where it looks better, or there's a mechanism you can use where there is a reward for people to make referrals, that's okay. I'm not saying don't do it, but keep the purity. If you're going to get referrals, give referrals and ask for them. Just be aware, be clear with it, be open with it, be totally open book about it. So I don't give money for referrals, and I don't ask for them either that way around. But I do give them freely, and I look forward to accepting them freely as well. It's up to you how you do it, but I prefer to do it with money doesn't exactly sort of change hands for it. And where you can do with a different scheme for that is if you have like an introducer network or something like that where there's money involved. That's sort of okay. But referrer to referrer, I think it's as I say, Chris, a referral joins the person referring. Okay, no, love it. That's great. And I think that's a lovely one. What Chris has put up there and is a very nice touch. In terms of thanking people, I will give people a bottle of champagne and a box of chocolates and a bunch of flowers, and I thank them for it with a gift. I want to validate it's not a case of, well, thanks, I'm never going to go away again. I know what Chris does. You can click on the link on there. Not now, because you're working with me, but on the link on there, what Chris has got is if somebody brings a new student along. In fact, no, tell you what, Chris, could you come on and could you explain? You did better than me, that's all. Is Chris, could you unmute yourself and come onto the call? There you go, Chris, good to see you. So, yeah, I was going to talk about your spinning wheel, but you do it better than me. So could you just tell everybody about the spinning wheel and referral programs? Great stuff.
Yep. So essentially, it's a website where you can customize the wheel to say anything you want. So when we've run a raffle, everyone that's entered, you put their numbers and their names in it and spin the wheel, blah, 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 their name comes up, they've won. So if a student has referred someone in and their friend, their person that they've referred joins up, when I present them with their very first white belt and tie it on, their referee, as it were, comes up to the front as well, and they get to spin the wheel and they win a prize. So it might be a school rucksack or a personalized t-shirt, a private lesson, weapons, pads, all sorts of different stuff. The big prize is the private lesson and a set of sparring pads, because they're worth about sort of £80 to them. The person who has just joined the club as well, who's just had their belt done up, has a consequence wheel to spin as well. So whilst they're at the front, they spin a wheel, and then everyone else, the people that haven't referred anyone, gets to do 50 push-ups or 20 burpees, or there's some sort of fun sort of prize, as it were, for everyone else as well. So we make a little bit of an occasion of it.
Consequence as well. So reward, heat and light, heat and consequence as well.
Yeah.
Love it. That's really cool. That's great. And what sort of response do you get? I mean, what do the students' parents, what do they all sort of, how do they respond to it?
Because I'm running about here, there, and everywhere trying to do everything. They're usually tagging on my trousers, going, "Sir, I haven't spun the wheel. Sir,
Right. Okay. Excellent.
I forgot. Yeah, we'll get to that."
Excellent.
Yeah, so they're really keen for it, and the prizes are pretty good.
That's fabulous. That's great. Good job. I know this is a reward and it's a thank you and that sort of thing as well. So yeah, good job. Great. And we can all use that. That is an online web portal sort of thing. The principle applies. Saying thank you, or a bit of a reward, make it fun. I'm not so sure about the consequences. I'd try that actually. I might do that with our client team. If they don't give me a referral, they're going to do 50 press-ups. But knowing some of my clients, you might finish them off, actually.
You must be prepared to do them with them as well. So only put things on there like...
Oh, right. Okay. I'm not doing that. Don't worry.
So doing the splits, a full block split, is not on my wheel because I can't do that.
It's not going to be on my wheel either, doing the full split. So it's definitely not going to be on my wheel either. But, good job. Great. Thanks, Chris. Cheers. Appreciate it. Thank you. So thanking is the key. There we go. Just put that up there, about the way. Excellent. So also then, in terms of timing, if you want to get a referral from somebody, I don't mean doing it at lunchtime or in the evening, but when they get a win, if they get something significant, or they win, they achieve something, that's when you ask them for a referral, because they're feeling good about life, they feel good about you, whatever it is. I mean, ask for referrals anytime, but if they get a big win or whatever it is, that's the time to sort of cash it in a little bit. And what you don't say is, yeah, remember me, buddy. You owe me a referral now. They don't do that, but it just, when they're feeling good, that's a great time to get a win, get a referral. So choose your time. It can also be the opposite, because as you know, with all the work that we do, sometimes clients are not going to be feeling great all the time. If they're having a bad week or whatever it is, then don't ask for a referral, because you're not going to get one. So choose the timing when they're feeling good and bright and positive, that sort of thing. But referrals are key, and they will really improve the business. So relationships are about like, knowing, and trusting. Because we're all the way back to probably the first sort of session we had. Pretty much, it's all about like, knowing, and trusting. And the more of that we do, either through the first 3 months, or this sort of the 3-month wobble, that's how they're going to retain the clients and get them to work with us and want you to do well. What I found, and I did genuinely, whether it's in the business we've got now, or the language business, or the transport business, anything like that, and I think for you guys as well, if you get clients and customers that like you, they want you to do well. There's been a lot of goodwill around in terms of the support that clients have displayed towards to what we do, and we're really grateful for that, and also from their clients as well. So if you build this level of relationship, they're going to like you trust you, they're going to support you as well. So when you ask for a referral, they're going to go, yeah, of course. So they're going to find a way to help you. And the essence is, if they want you to do well, then they'll give you referrals and introduce you around as you go along. So it's worth bearing in mind. Okay, so we're getting towards the not sort of the end, but another thing, the lifetime value of a client, customer, or student. This is where in harsh terms, this is where the profit is made in any business. If I look at any company that we work with, if they've got long-term customer relationships, they tend to do well. It doesn't matter whether they're retail, it doesn't matter whether they're in the accounting business or the manufacturing business, it doesn't matter. If you've got long-term client relationships, the business tends to be doing well, mainly because you haven't got to keep rebuilding business all the time as you go along. So it's a real opportunity for all of us. In the martial arts business, for example, this will resonate with Chris, and I think it's Liam. Liam's on as well, I think. I thought to him pop in, so Chris, Liam, any of the martial artists. One of the key drivers in the martial arts business is retention of students, and they measure something called their attrition rate. So let's say you've got 500 students. In fact, let's say you've got 1,000 students. It's an easier number for me to work out in my head. And what they measure is, you've got 1,000 students at the 1st of June. At the end of June, how many of those 1,000 have you still got? What's your attrition rate? Now, the average in the UK, pretty much, from all the martial arts academies in the UK, the average attrition rate per month is 6%. So you've got 1,000 students, they're going to lose 60 students. There just are, because people move, they leave, they go to college, they whatever, they retire. They're going to lose some students. So they're going to lose 6% of their business every month, which means just to stand still, a martial arts business has got to attract 6% in as well. You've got to attract 60 new ones to replace the 60 that they've lost. And that's just an average. Some martial arts academies, it doesn't matter who, nobody on the call here, I guarantee it, nobody on the call here, they have higher attrition rates. I've seen academies with 10, 15% attrition rate per month. Now, if you imagine you've got a martial arts academy, and let's just say your attrition rate is 8.5% per month, call it 9%, whatever. At 8.5% per month, every year, you're losing all your students. 12 times 8.5, 96 and a bit, whatever, you've lost all your students. So you've got to rebuild your business every year. You're just building a business from scratch all the time. You may get some people who stay with you for years. You may get some people who only last for 3 months. This is where this longevity kicks in. But if the average attrition rate for a martial artist is anything near to 8.5%, they've got to rebuild their business every year. They're building the business. That's why it's really tough to grow, because you imagine you've got to start from scratch. It's like a startup every year. Every January, you start again with getting all the students on board. Other academies, the ones that grow and do well and sustain and make the best profits, have got attrition rates down to 2%, 1.5%, 2%, 3%, which means that they do the marketing, they bring in the number of students and they keep them. And that's just how the mechanism works. They avoid this 100% churn. But this applies to all of us. And we look in my business, we look at retention, we look at attrition rate, we look at longevity, because I know that if not just in terms of the money, it sounds very harsh, but in terms of the business being sustainable for what we want to achieve and for the clients we work with, it's that long-term relationship. And if you're not achieving long-term relationship with your clients, then there's something wrong, probably something wrong. There are very few businesses out there, unless, I'm trying to think of one, and I'm going to come on to, there's two that spring to mind that haven't got long-term relationships with their clients. One is the undertaker and one is the wedding planner, but I'm going to come on to that one, or the wedding planner specifically for you, because even the undertaker can have a long-term relationship, but we'll touch on that later on. But for all, I think, knowing you guys as I do in the businesses you're in, whether you're in web or accounting, whatever it is, the money's in the back end, but the growth potential's in the back end. You've got to have this lifetime value, long-term relationship, and that's where it comes from. So you can measure your own attrition rate or longevity, or something that we do, or you can measure as well. There's different measures for it. You can measure the amount of time between purchases, for example. If you're running a hair salon or a dental practice, how many times a year do the people come to see you? How do they work with you? If you're a dentist, if you've got a salon, what do you do? And the barber shop that I used to go to in the UK, I still go there now when I'm allowed out to get to the UK. And it's in a place called Shifnal, which is a little tiny sort of village outside of Telford. And it's a very traditional barbers. And I go there and have a haircut and that sort of thing. And I was talking to him about when to get people to come back in. How long has he had his clients for? He's had clients that they came to him when they were 3 years old for the first haircut. And they're bringing their kids to him now. He's got people who've been with him for years and years and years, because he's a great guy. They love being there. He doesn't do any marketing. There's a waiting list. You have to queue, you have to book. There's a waiting list. And his prices, I think his prices are a bit low. Anyway, I told him that. But he's built his whole business around value, longevity, relationship, trusting. His attrition rate, the only people that he loses are when they keel over at the other end, they move away. But I live in France. We're 1,000 miles away, so 1,000 kilometers away from Telford. If I go to the UK, I still go to him to have a haircut, because he does a great job and he's a good lad. Now that's saying something. I've been with him for years. I can't get there now, as you can see. But Lynn's going to cut my hair at the weekend, so watch out for updates. I hope he doesn't watch this video about the snoring like a pig. I'll be in trouble. I'll be having a Mohican haircut if I'm not very careful. Anyway, it was Molly. I was talking about, not Lynn. So you can measure this for yourselves as well. What's your retention rate, or what's your attrition rate? What's the average time between purchases, and how long on average do people stay with you? The longer they stay, the better in principle, but you can choose as well. Some clients you don't want in the long term. They play nice, then you want them. If they don't, then you can move them on. But that's the real key. Now, how do martial artists do this? And this is something we can use and develop in our business, I think, as well. Martial artists, any martial artists on the, no, I don't mean Chris and Liam. I know you guys are martial artists, but any practicing martial artists on anyone looking down the video? No, karate, whatever, no? Oh, well, you should be. You should speak to Chris and Liam, and they can do it all over webinar and video now. If you want to learn martial arts, then speak to these guys. It's all done over Zoom. It's good fun. Anyway, so if you're in the martial arts business, what you do, you have belts. You start off with your white belt and you work your way through to black belt. And then when you get to black belt, you can still keep going and you can go through the Dan system, which is the black belt plus, as I call it. As it's never ending. I don't think, Chris will probably put me right, or Liam put me right, I don't think it ever ends. I think in martial arts, you get your belts and you keep going. There's always something, a next level that you can go to. And I think this is a fabulous way of working with students, because they've always got something to work towards. You're promoting them through the ranks. They're learning, getting bigger, better and brighter. But this approach is something we can all use ourselves in principle of how we reward or we train and we guide them. Now, the belt system, as I understand it, I'm being careful here because my understanding is the belt system, it was first introduced in the judo field in the 1880s by, I can't remember, Jigoro Kano, I'm going to say it is. And what he used to be that people in the martial arts field would get a certificate, a qualification, a certificate, a reward, but there wasn't people were leaving the judo field. So what the martial artists did is, okay, what we'll do, we'll give them a badge of honor, like a medal. It's like join the Boy Scouts or something like that, if you like. They have to qualify through each belt. They have a grading every 3 or 4 months, and they qualify through. And that was one of the best ways they could find of retaining students, because if they got something to aim for, that they can qualify to the next level, the next grade, the next product, the next service, whatever it is, then they stay with them in the long term. And you can do the same as well. If you've got that utilization graph sorted through, and you know new products and services you've got that clients aren't buying, well, from a retention point of view, you can say, look, we've got a new service coming out this quarter. Is this something of interest to you? You can expand your frame of reference, and the equivalent of these belts will mean when they're working with you on 10 products, not just one, much more likely to stay with you if they're buying all those products and services from you. So you can promote your clients through an equivalent of a belt system. You're not going to give them belts, I don't think, though you could do. But this is where this utilization company is very, very strong, and you can retain the client or give them more value, and they stay with you because they want to rather than you force them to. And it works. One of the things that I find, for example, something that we do, and other guys you're working with, you know this, we don't have a 12-month contract to work with us. We work with all our clients all over the world on a month-by-month basis, providing they get value and the business grows and develops and that sort of thing, they stay with us. So my job is to make sure that things move forwards and they grow and develop and build. If we do that and we can introduce new services, the value is there, then hopefully our clients stay with us. And the same for you. You don't have to lock them in with a contract. You can lock them in with value. And if they're locked in with value and they love what you do, they'll say nice things about you. They'll spread the word. You get the referrals coming through as well for yourselves. So you can use a belt sort of analogy in your business. But if your attrition rate is high, you're losing clients or customers, they're not saying nice things about you, then you've got to look at, don't blame them, look at what you do. What is it that you're doing? And I had this conversation with a client, doesn't matter who they were, literally on Monday, and he was moaning about one of his clients, one of his customers. He's not on the call today, we're quite safe. And he just said, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's mentioning this, he's mentioning that, he's not saying nice things about us. And it wasn't pleasant to have a customer do that. But I said to the guy, look, what are you doing to enable him to do that? He said, what do you mean? I said, well, he's not saying nice things about you. He's saying nice things about other people or whatever it is, but you've created that space. You can't blame him. You've got to take responsibility for it in terms of your levels of customer service and satisfaction, added value, and get the feedback from them. And you can use it's a little bit outdated now, you can use the Net Promoter Score system. We haven't got really time to go through it here, NPS, when you might have seen this when you if you rent a car or you go to a hotel or whatever it is, and even I think Skype use it now as well. You use a service and you get an email and it says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely is it you refer us to one of your colleagues or friends? And you get this scale of 0 to 10. Well, that's the Net Promoter Score system. If you give them a 9 or a 10, that's the highest ranking. If it's an 8 down to a 6, I think it is, it's mid-range, they get a 0. And below that, they get -1 point. But you can score this. You can score your customer service standards by not just how long people stay with you and what they say about you, but make it a tangible scorecard as well. When I send the notes out from here, I'll drop in a link to the Net Promoter Score website. Have a look at it. It gives you a measure, and you can then get your clients to score how they feel about the service that you give to them as well. So, okay. Industry attrition rates, not really. I mean, the martial arts, the reason I know it's 6% of the martial arts business is because we work with a big martial arts franchisor in the UK, effectively a franchisor. They have lots of academies all over the UK in a variety of forms, and what they measure the attrition rate of their clients. Now, the attrition rate of their clients, is lower than the average because they do a great job, but they know what the average is. Is there a way to get stats on industry attrition rates? Not so much. It's quite tricky because people don't measure it. What you can do, however, the Net Promoter Score system is published. So if you want to find out the Net Promoter Score for British Airways or whatever it is, you can go onto the Net Promoter Score website and you can find out the scores that they achieve, and then you can look to beat them. So the good guys out there, things like Apple, for example, very, very high scores. It used to be Harley Davidson had very, very high scores. They're dropping a bit now because the bikes aren't as good as they were. But yeah, so for the attrition rates, not so much. Net Promoter Score, yeah, there's tables produced, and you can benchmark yourself against the best in the world and see what you can shoot for. Oh, we have a young person on the call as well. Look at that. Hi, Junior. This is good. It's great fun working from home, isn't it? It's the number of calls. I had a call this morning with the CEO of a company up in Luxembourg, and we're having a serious conversation. He's sat in his bedroom because he can't get a Wi-Fi signal, and his 5-year-old daughter walks in to show him a picture that she's just drawn with crayons. I guarantee, I don't care what CEO you are, if your 5-year-old walks in with a picture, I think it was a donkey that she'd drawn, you're gonna look at the donkey picture. It's all good fun. It's great. So good stuff. Okay, so anyway, so we can use this. We can use Net Promoter Score system and the belt type system to build in this level of sort of allegiance to the flag, if you like, as well. Okay, so retention strategies. Number one, to keep your clients, just deliver value. Just make sure they're better off with you than without you. They love what you do. You keep your promises and you deliver value. That's the number one, without any tricks, without any strategies and tactics or anything like that. Just deliver great value, and they're much more likely to stay with you because you're keeping your promises. You can do things like critical non-essentials. You can send them gifts and cards and little nice touches and call them out the blue, and that's a nice, birthdays and Christmas, that type of thing. The best book I've ever come across on this, you can Google it. The guy is called Joe Girard, and he was the world's best car salesman, and he would retain his clients because everybody who used to buy a car from him, they would get a card every month. It would be a Valentine's card, a birthday card, a Christmas card, a Father's Day card, or any excuse to send them a card. But what he used to do, he'd send a card, not to the client, but to the car. So the car got a card for Christmas, the car got a birthday card, the car got a Mother's Day card. And it was just a bit of fun. And he had cards going out. He had employed somebody full-time just to send cards out to people. But then when people thought about changing the car, what did they do? They came back to see him, and he built his whole business up on critical non-essentials, cards, communication, and it's an interesting way of doing it. So the book is Joe Girard, G-I-R-A-R-D, Joe Girard. I think it's The Art of Selling, I think it is, with the various titles for it. Google his name, you'll find him, and he talks all about this. A very nice way of building client retention, if you like, as well. Just keep your promises as well. Just keep your promises. If you're going to call somebody, one of the things I always have as well, a guarantee. I think some people know that I guarantee to be on time for any appointment, any meeting. And if I'm late and there's not some catastrophe somewhere, I haven't let people know. If I'm late for a meeting or late for an appointment, I give people a bottle of champagne, and I've given probably 5 or 6 out in the last 18 years, because I make a point of either physically being on time to be at a meeting or a workshop or one of these, or on time on a call. Can I be late next time, please? Yes, you can sabotage me, maybe. You never know. But it's one of those things. For me, if I book a call with somebody, I think it's just good courtesy to be on time or early. I learned this lesson in my days as an apprentice, that you've got to be on time. I had a boss as an apprentice. He was ex-military, and he would arrange meetings at 07:14 or 07:23 in the morning, not around. And if you got there and you were late for that meeting, you used to lock the door. You couldn't get in, and you never got invited back. That was it. You were out. If you can't be bothered, he wouldn't let you in. Bit harsh. I'm not recommending you do that with your clients, but from a mindset point of view, if you book a time to meet with a client or a customer or a prospect, time is a key one. And that so many people, not you guys, but so many people don't keep to time. It's just like people are on, and I've got to say that the French, not great, not all. It's a sweeping statement. Stefan's going to shoot me now, and so is Sandrine, but there is a pattern. People just being 10 minutes late, not you guys, but in general. Be on time, keep your promises is a great way to retain your clients. Innovate, do something new and different. I mean, this is an innovation for us, doing these Zoom workshops, and I'd value your feedback afterwards. But be creative, use technology, new things happening, keep ahead of the curve, be innovative, enable them to be innovative in their businesses as well, and they will look for the next big idea that you're going to bring to them. So be creative, be innovative, and bring new things to bear on them. And just build a relationship. I think that's the number one thing you can probably do, is build relationships and be there for them. You know, it doesn't matter what you're selling. Be there for the clients. Just be there to. I have messages and calls and connections and contacts out of the blue. Sometimes I had a message from a guy up in he's based in Yorkshire. Not Aaron, not you, Aaron. You're okay. He pinged a message Facebook over the weekend. He said, "Have you got 5 minutes?" I think it was on Sunday afternoon. As it happened, I did. Yeah, of course, I had 5 minutes. I had a quick Facebook chat. Always good. He wanted to run something by me. It was important. Now, you know, that's okay. I don't send him a bill for that. It's just part of the relationship. I hope he doesn't do Sunday afternoons every week. But you know what? If I'm around, I'm free, then great. Have meetings with the, yeah, I can imagine, okay, with the Spanish, it never starts. I went to, I had a client, I do have a client in Lagos, in Nigeria. And I was invited down there to do a workshop, a conference. And I was on at, I think I was 10 o'clock in the morning. And there's about 250 people in the room at this sort of hotel in the safe zone, as they call it, anyway, but there is a safe zone. So I'm going to put there, I'm on stage, 10 o'clock, and the room's empty. And after, between 10 o'clock and 10:30, people are wandering in, they're sitting down and checking emails. And I said to the guys, oh, wow, what happened? I always said, we're on Nigeria time. You know, Nigeria time runs slow. You have to just go with the flow. You go slow, Nigeria time. But anyway, so if you're on time, if you're earlier on time, you're late, and if you're late, you're disgraced. That's a great point you make. And I was trained. I wasn't in the military. I was trained alongside. I was in Royal Ordnance, MOD, but by military people. And that you're absolutely right. Do not be late. It's just in the military. If you're late, people die. You know, you've got to be there on time. So anyway, good point. Good point. But be on time. And if you're not, you get a bottle of champagne. I had a client in Birmingham, real quick. Clients in Birmingham, recruitment business. They're on the 8th floor of an office block. And I had this promise, it's back in 15 years ago, as if I'm late for the workshop or a meeting, then you get the bottle of champagne. And they sabotaged the lift, so that they wedged it open with a fire extinguisher. I had to use the stairs, and I was very nearly late, but still, anyway. But those are the key things, just to innovate, build relationships, and your clients will stay with you. Now, the wedding planner problem, if you like, is the wedding is only run once, or the funeral is only run once. And the classic question is, how do I, as a wedding planner or a funeral director, whatever it is, how the heck do I build a relationship with my clients? Can I see them once and I never see them again? Well, the question is, of course, it's maybe not them, but it's the family, it's who they know, it's their friends, it's the people who attend the wedding. And Richard, our youngest son, he got married last year over in the UK, and it was a fabulous event. It was a sort of stately home. Anyway, it was amazing. And the people who organised the wedding and did everything, they were really clever. They got in touch with everybody with his permission, and a little gift for everybody who attended the wedding. And what you find, of course, is people of a certain age, Richard's 27, of that age, there's an age at which people tend to get married. So they knew that all of Richard's friends who came along either were married or maybe thinking of getting married. And they just built their network out from purely referrals. They did a great job. The wedding was amazing. And they get all their business, I was speaking to them, from people who attend the weddings. That's where they get their next clients from. No marketing, no advertising, all referral based. They do an amazing job. And they, we had street food, we had burgers and hot dogs and a live band. And it was just a fabulous day. And it was so good that everybody said, who did this? Give me a card, and off they went, and they got lots of bookings on the back of it. So even if it's not your client physically that comes back to you, it's who they know, it's their network, their friends, their family. So with the wedding planner problem, if you like, that's how you can do it, and the same applies for you guys as well. Okay, so that just about wraps up, I think, the sort of content for this one. Are there any questions before I start to wrap this up with a final bit of homework for you? Has it made sense? Has it made sense? Just is it not a good? So not good. That's good to know, so I can see that. Any questions? Is there any questions you'd like to ping to me or anybody else? Just while we're together, I will send out the slide deck. I'll get the video recording. I'll send that out as well with some links. No, everybody happy? Good. Thank you. Bless you. Thank you. Okay, so no questions. Homework. This is your homework. Final bit of homework. That you're in the game. There's no escape. Just because the program's finished now, I'm not going to hunt you down. But anyway, homework. I'd like to know how you felt about the workshop and that sort of thing. So it would be great if you could give me some feedback. A testimonial would be great. What I'd like you to do, I'll send you the invites though. If you could do feedback, obviously, any ups and downs and sideways, but a testimonial, if you could do it on LinkedIn, I'll send you a little message on LinkedIn. If you could say something nice about the event, if you enjoyed it, on LinkedIn, that'd be perfect. I'll send a little invitation through to do a written testimonial for me. That'd be really appreciated. But also, anything that you could send me, any tips, updates, that sort of thing, that you think worked well or didn't, more breakout sessions, for example, whatever it's going to be, that would be great as well. So that'd be very, very kind. That'd be help my marketing as well. But do sit now and do a 12-month goal. I think we're coming out of this lockdown situation now a little bit. What's the next 12 months look like? Where do you want to be this time next year, personally, professionally, and otherwise? But be reasonably ambitious. Things are happening now. We're seeing that people can, sign new clients. Clients are coming back. The things are moving. There's no reason why we can't get businesses back on track. So put an ambitious 12-month plan goal together for yourselves. But have your 90-day plan. This has been the most bizarre Q2 in my career. Q1 was great. January, February, March, sort of. It was great. We were growing up. Things were going well, and workshops, events, life was good, strong quarter. Then Q2 turned up and bang. But Q3 is coming now. So do a next 90-day plan. Maybe it's Q3, July, August, September. Nice 90-day plan, nice and structured. Things are happening. You can get your business back on track. So break it into a 90-day plan and have fun, enjoy it. And I think that the key thing, even if it's been really tough out there in the market, everybody on here, and I'm seeing out there, is coming through this now. It may have been a bit bruised, a bit battered, and the balance sheets aren't as strong as they were 3 months ago. But keep your chins up, have some fun, believe it can be done. Do what Aaron did. Put your prices out there, hold the line, the value's there, enjoy it, and you'll build your client base as you go around. Okay, good. So thank you for participating. I've enjoyed it anyway. Speak to you next week. I'll speak to you. We're all booked in. I'll be in touch. Any notes and thoughts, I'll send them across. And I'll speak to you real soon. But yeah, bye for now. Send the notes out. Have a great week. I'll send some updates from the garden to get this stuff all sorted out. Thank you. I'll see you real soon, guys. And I'll speak to you soon as we go along. But bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.
Thank you. Take care. See you soon.